Okay, so finally here. Thank you very much for waiting for me. That's very, very kind of you. I appreciate it. I love you for being here and wanting to find out more about what the dragons have to say about love. Now, today is Valentine's Day, and most people will be thinking a little bit more about love being in their life and what that actually means. Now, the dragons have a lot to say about love. For a start, it's where a lot of our creation starts, and if we're not being able to get into love, then we're sadly missing the guidance and the information that's being able to come through from the dragons. When my journey started about love, I realised that I'd been a heart on the quest for love all my life. I had been disappointed. I had been worried that I was broken, and I shall share that with you in a minute. So thank you very much for coming and wanting to learn a little bit more about what the dragons say about love, the energy of the dragons, and what they want us to understand and learn about the frequency, the energy, the feeling of love. So let me know that you're here. And when something resonates with you, just give me a little love heart, because it's really, really important that we're, thank you very much for coming. It's just really important that you're acknowledging and you're accepting the fact that, yes, I'm aware of that. I'm understanding that that has been what's been going on for me as well. So when I say that along my journey, I realised when I was writing my book, and one of my books that I've been asked to write by the dragons is called Practical Magic. It's taking a little while to come through, but that's okay. When I was writing the chapter about love and how I created my partner, I was writing and because, oh my God, I've been my whole life, makes me tearful, on the quest for love. What does it feel like? I had absolutely no idea, and I didn't realise at the time how much I'd been pushing away from love and why I hadn't been able to find love. And this is what the dragons had wanted to show me. So when I was asking to create and call in my love, love had to come from a different place. And this is everything that I want to be able to share with you today. So no matter whether you are calling in a love, whether you have a relationship already and you want to transform it in a different way, if you are any kind of relationship, any kind of relationship that you're in. Now, I don't just mean with another person, I also mean about yourself. So this is very interesting to find about, where are you with love? And one of the dragons that I have a very close connection with is called Lunar Ray. And Lunar Ray is about your feelings and the frequency of your feelings, and how does it feel in your body when you are experiencing something. Now, you are the only one who can fix your ability to love or to be loved. Let me explain that. Your ability, your capacity to feel love is what happens to you on the inside. You are the one who gets to love first. You love yourself first. If you know that phrase, you can't love someone else until you love yourself. God, that used to frustrate me so much when I used to hear that, because I didn't understand it. What I came to realise was that I hadn't got the capacity of the love that I wanted to experience, because I hadn't sensed it, I hadn't felt it for myself. So the only one who was going to fix my ability to love and experience love and be loved and call in a love was me. So finding how I could love myself, discovering how I could love myself as a soul was the best experience, the best kind of love I could have ever hoped of experiencing. Now, it can seem a little bit distant, and it can seem a little bit far off, and it can seem a little bit unrealistic, because a lot of people talk about self-love, self-care, and it doesn't mean that you're pampering yourself. It doesn't mean that you're going to get your nails done or your hair done or going for a massage. It's just you fully and utterly fall in love with yourself, and you value yourself, and you completely get who you are, and you acknowledge, do you know what? I'm working on it. This is how it is. Now, again, let me know if this has been your experience. I realised that I didn't have the capacity to love. For example, when my children were born, somebody rushed in when my children were, born, and on the same day, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to see anyone at all. I'm exhausted. And somebody came in rushing to me and leant over me, my ex-mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, and they're like, oh my God, wasn't that just the best experience ever? Didn't you just feel the love? Isn't that just the best? And they were so gushy about it. And I'm from a very practical point of view, and I was very much in my linear and my practical side. And I was like, my God, there must be something wrong with me. I don't feel anything. Then I was realizing, I think I'm broken. I don't think I have the capacity to love. I don't think I have that in me. I haven't developed it. I haven't understood it. I haven't given birth to that in myself. So I was going on a journey then. I was asking, and I was saying, I want to know what it feels like to feel love. I want to know what it feels like to really, really experience that. Not to be in a relationship that I could kind of go, that'll do. Which had been my experience in the past, just going, oh, he'll do. That's enough. Not that that's all I deserve, but that's all I was used to. I grew up in a house where there wasn't a great deal of emotions shown. There wasn't a great deal of love per se. It doesn't mean that they didn't love me to the max of their capacity, but the love that I was seeking, the love that I was looking for, had just have gone short. Whether it was my parents, whether it was partners, and now with my children coming into the life, I was like, that's not it. That's not the kind of love that I want. So show me that you want to experience a deeper love, a stronger love. Understand what love really, really feels like for you. Because when you understand, no, I'm not just talking about love, but your feelings. Many people say, oh my God, I feel too much already. I don't want to feel any more. I don't want to feel more love. I don't want to feel more hurt. I don't want to, if I let more love in, that means I'm opening myself up to hurt. You see, there's an awful lot that goes on that stops us wanting to open up to love. When I met my partner that I had created, and I will go into that story in a minute, it terrified me on a level, because I knew that the dragons were now going to show me, now you keep your heart open no matter what. Better to have loved than lost, than never to have experienced love at all. And I was petrified. I remember when I'd met my partner and I'd fallen in love with my partner, driving to his house, and I had to stop myself because I was so emotional. I was terrified of going to this date that I was on in case I got hurt. And then I just kept hearing the voice. You asked for love. Better to have loved than lost, than never to have experienced love at all. And that was what I was asking for. That is what I'd asked the dragons for. And I'm like, you're right. Pull myself together. This is the capacity of love that I wanted to be able to feel. And every single time something disappoints me or goes off in a different direction that I wasn't expecting, or I feel, I'm not feeling appreciated, I'm not feeling loved, I'm not feeling cared for, I'm not feeling cherished, I realise it's me. I'm not loving myself, I'm not cherishing myself, I'm not appreciating myself. And this is a big realization for all of our love relationships, all of our love for ourselves. Where are we not shining through? Where are we not loving ourselves? I'm being shown the Louise Hay, that particular exercise when she has you looking at yourself in the mirror saying, I love you. Looking in your eyes on a daily basis and saying, I love you. I'm here for you. To meet your soul, to meet yourself, and to be able to say, I love you. And most of us will burst into tears because we've never felt that depth of love before. Feelings, they absolutely, the dragons are saying this to me now, absolutely terrify humans, because we've become so used to not feeling our feelings. We've become so used to blocking out our feelings that we live in a very narrow bandwidth of what we want to have as our capacity, because we don't want to go into being hurt, so we keep our doors shut. We keep our capacity for love in a very, very narrow bandwidth. Let me know with an emoji, with a word, that this is what you are feeling, that maybe you've just shut down your fullest capacity to love. We're on Valentine's Day, the day when we want to experience that we are loved. We want to experience how we are held, appreciated, cherished, adored. And yet, it is us, in our own ability to know love for ourselves, that is really getting in our own way. Feel into what love feels like for you. When were you last loved to your fullest capacity? When did you last allow yourself to receive love in its fullest capacity? Was it by someone else? Was it by something else? So just do a little inventory right now about, what have you got on love? When did you last experience that deep, knowing warmth, that melting away feeling that you can call love? You allowed it into your body. You allowed your soul to experience it. That safe, supported feeling of love. Not pretentious, not roses and chocolates and cards, stuff, but the real sincere feeling of love. It's a very safe feeling. If you can bring it up to right now, what is it that you allow yourself to feel when you feel loved? So feel it inside your body. And then I'm going to tell you a story about calling in love. And we're going to go a little bit deeper about understanding what love really, really is, and what dragons want you to know about love. It can be a struggle to keep that expansive, open-hearted love feeling going. Many people profess to have that when they're healers and when they're therapists, but to open it for everyone, no matter who they are and how they show up in the world, to have that for all your clients, to have that for yourself first and foremost. Being able to feel in like, what would I like right now? What would be best for me? What would show me that I loved me? How can I love myself more in my next few breaths? So what are some of the questions that you could be asking yourself about how you can feel more love? It is the most delicious feeling to feel love. And when you are in the feeling of love, which, by the way, has a resonance, a frequency, 528 kilohertz. It's a weird number, isn't it? 528 kilohertz. When you reach that particular frequency, it's easier for the dragons to get in. It's easier for the dragons to meet you. It's easier for them to give you guidance. They will come in and meet you at that level. They can dip down and they can meet you at willing, which is like 444 kilohertz. And it's so much easier for them to come in when you're expanding yourself into 600 kilohertz. And you may think, whoa, God, that's going to take a lot of energy for me to keep that going and to keep expanding and keep my heart open. But it's a practice. It's a practice of knowing what that feels like and being able to go back into that feeling at any time that you want it. One of the biggest lessons that the dragons have shown me is everything is frequency. If you want to manifest something, it is in your energy. If you want something to manifest, show me what you want, what you can imagine, and I will help you get it. But not through what you say, not through your words. It will be in the feeling that I'm able to coax out of you as to say that is the feeling that you're heading towards. That is the essence, that is the frequency, that is the vibration that you are heading towards. If you want to attract someone, a beautiful, beautiful soul, and you've made your list of every single thing that you love about this person, or that you would like to love, the kind of love you would like to feel, and I'm going to show you this with my hand, just saying, this is the resonance, this is where they sit at, this is where they live, this is where they belong, because you want to feel them adore you and cherish you and love you and gift you their presence and just love being with you. And yet you are somewhere down here doubting yourself. If you are somewhere down here complaining that you haven't got any love in your life, complaining that none of the clothes in your wardrobe fit you, none of your clients, really, none of your jobs and none of your cars work, or don't like the food that you eat, or if you're anywhere down here of just like life isn't working for you, and yet you want someone to love you and cherish you, just blissfully love you and be in your energy space, so you just couldn't be happier. It's you that has to start loving every single thing in your life so that you can bring in this person and that you can match them at that level. You don't want someone down here who doesn't show you love, when is overwhelmed by love, who can't communicate love, who ignores you, and you're going, that'll do. I just want someone in my life, that'll do. When really what you want is here, and what you deserve is here. It's you that has to fall in love with you, has to fall in love with your work, has to fall in love with your body, has to fall in love with your life, has to love your pets, has to love the weather, has to love your house, has to love... Do you get it? It's such a beautiful experience to be in that frequency of love. So much more is magnetized towards you when you get up to the level that you need, that you're wishing that you could have all the things that you want, your business, your love life, your relationships, your body, your health. It's at a different level than where you are right now. It's like, how do I get there? How is the time to get into this and start loving my life? I deserve it. I need it. I want it. That's what I'm here for. The dragons say there's not another planet like it for feelings. You came here to experience these deep, diverse duality of feelings and being able to go for what it was that you really wanted and create it. So I'm going to tell you the little story about how I created my partner. The one that had me terrified going to his house, because I knew that I would have to keep my heart open even if I got hurt, because I needed to love. I needed to feel that loving feeling. My soul knew it was ready for me to move up in the love stakes. A girlfriend came to stay with me and she said, Fiona, she said, you've been on your own 5 years since you got separated. You're raising these boys. You're a single mum. You're working really hard. What about having some fun? What about, a relationship? I was like, oh, I'm not interested in a relationship. How on earth could I meet someone? I live in France. I don't speak French in that way that is going to allow me to develop a relationship on an emotional basis. How on earth? This is just not going to be my life. It's not going to work for me. And also, I'm a spiritual person, so, other things need to go into this mix as well. And she said, well, let's just go on a dating site and go men shopping. And I'm like, oh, God, no, I just couldn't think of anything worse. But then I was reminded, the dragons put into my mind, Rosie, she found an excellent guy on a dating site. This other lady I knew, she found an excellent guy on a dating site. This girl that I was with, Suzanne, had found an excellent guy on a dating site. And I'm thinking, well, I don't really get out to very many parties. So in the old days, I would think, well, I'd meet someone via somewhere else or like in my social network locally. And I'm like, I don't have that here. Okay. She said, come on, it's just fun. I'll just show you, I'll show you the dating site that I was on and we can make your profile. I'll make your profile for you. And it was going through the actual profile questions that had me asking myself, what do I want? What do I want? Which is all I talk about when it's manifesting. I'd manifested houses, I've manifested cars, I've manifested selling a house, I'd manifested buying a house exactly to my specifications. And here I was using the same techniques that I teach to try and find a partner for my heart, for my body, for my life, to bring into my life. So we filled out all the questions about, the type of guy that I liked, what kind of things that I would like, and more questions, ambition and traveling and all those kind of things. And I was like, oh, it started to form in my mind, what else would I like? What would be better than that? Oh God, they really, really need to be able to speak good English, have a good laugh with me, being able to go places and explore places and have this wonderful language that's emotional and deeper than I really, been able to have before. And that feeling of love. And then I started going into my own practices that the dragons showed me. So what does it feel like to be in this kind of relationship? What kind of letters would pass between you? What kind of conversations would pass between you? So I imagine myself driving in my car and having somebody sit next to me, having those deep, loving conversations, listening to the music, singing together, playing together, doing the garden together, going shopping together. And that feeling was always there. And I was like, that's the feeling that I want. So what is that feeling? It feels safe. It feels peaceful. I feel I can be me in every single sense of the word, and I'm never criticised and never overlooked. And the way he looks at me, oh my God. So these were the kind of things I was putting into my understanding of what kind of person I wanted to create. So we put this out, the questions, put this out onto the platform, the dating site, And I had in my mind all my internal stories of what it was going to feel like when this person walked into my life. The dragons were there, and they were guiding me now that I knew precisely what it is that I wanted, how it felt in the frequency. I could put myself out there and I could say every single day I was telling that particular story about what it felt like to be in the energy of somebody like that, how delicious it was. I was guided to a few people, and the dragons always have shown me, and this is the, you know, your dragon soul allows you to kind of go, how does it feel if I'm in the room with this person? Do I feel, yeah, I feel safe with them. Are they the one? No. Should I go on the date? Yes, it would be good for you to go on the date and experience being in safe male company. So I went on a few dates and I was like, thank you very much, but no thank you very much. And then I started getting into a conversation with a guy. He was 11 years younger than me. But part of my thing that I'd made was he would live locally. He would be a dad. He would have kids the same age. He would be very good at DIY. He would speak like English. He was French. He would speak very good English and Spanish, and probably a little bit of Basque as well, because we live in the Basque country. And so many other things, like liked hiking and walking and doing adventures and going out places and things like that. So I started speaking to him, and as we were writing to each other, I was like, oh my God, okay. And he was very laid back. And it was me that kind of said, well, do you want to meet? And he said, yes, it would be nice to meet. I said, well, I'd like to hear your voice before we meet. I'd already done my test. I'd already felt into that. If he was next to me, I was like, nothing changes in my body. I can be exactly who I am. I knew the feelings. I knew what it felt like to be with somebody like that. I was like, okay, well, let's meet then. Let's hear your voice. And when I heard his voice, I was like, whoa, I just melted. My girlfriend got me ready. She came to babysit for the boys. And I went out and she got me ready and I went out and I met this person. And from the very first instant that we sort of said hello, in French you give the biz, which is like a kiss on each cheek. Yes, of course, I bashed his cheek because I was nervous. I just felt really relaxed. And the way he looked at me was just how I wanted. And the evening just progressed and I was just swept off my feet. I absolutely loved the feeling, and I knew that that's the feeling. And I could feel it's me that has the feeling, and he's matching my feeling. He's matching what it is that I decided that I wanted, what I would tolerate, what I would have the capacity of. And of course, now that we're in a relationship and have been in a relationship for over 8 years, if things sort of dwindle and I think, it's dwindling a little bit, the only person who can change it is me. So I create a new little list and I say, oh, it'd be really nice if we could go on some dates. It'd be really nice if we could go and do this and spend some time together and have this kind of conversation and go to the cinema and, you know, what are the things that I want? So I create them in the list and I create the story inside my head and I know what it feels like when we're going and doing that. Oh my God, that evening was so delicious. I really, really needed that. Thank you, Fiona, for pushing me out of my comfort zone and taking me out of the house, and we went and did something different, and it feels good to do that. I love you. I love being around you. It's just, you're never boring. So this is not only how you pull in a new person into your life or anything that you want to manifest. It's how do you change the relationships that you're in when you're feeling a little bit, don't feel very appreciated, don't feel very loved. So you set yourself up into the state that you want. And it only takes one person to change the energy state. If this is making sense, if you're ready to play at this level, and if you want to understand about your feelings and the dragons, the way that they bring you into that energy, let me know. Give me a love heart and just go, oh my God, I want to be able to feel. I want to be able to feel loved. I want to be able to feel more. I want to be able to feel happy. I want to be able to feel safe. Let me know. Give me a 1 if you want to be more loved, if you want to feel experienced of like having your heart wide open and feeling safe to expose yourself, to feel vulnerable. Give me a 1 that this is like the sign that you're talking out loud. You're showing the universe, you're showing the dragons, I am ready to learn how to love. One. It's just an amazing feeling. What I realised is when I first met Alex, my partner, I was in love. I was experiencing it. I was walking it. I was dressed in it. I was just holding that energy. And so many great things happened for me. My business took off in a different way. I was asked to write books by the dragons. I was given preferential treatment when I went into shops. I was invited out by girlfriends. I was gifted plants by people when they came. Oh, Kerry. I was gifted plants because people just felt the energy and they were just so receptive to it. And it made them happy to share the love, to keep their hearts open. This is just such an incredible way of being. And the dragons, you have to know something about the dragons, by the way. It's not just about putting love in your life or putting love into your own heart. The dragons are here to lift you up into a new normal, they're saying territory, lift you up into a new normal experience. So much so that you let go of the victim, you let go of the hurt, you let go of the abandonment issues, you let go of the exes and how they hurt you, you let go of the fact that your parents weren't able to love you the way you wanted to be loved, or that you haven't loved you the way you wanted to be loved. You are residing in this new home space. The mission that the dragons are on through me, as you manifest in different kinds of experiences, is for you to build yourself up into this frequency, and you can hold it. You can sustain it and maintain it for longer and longer and longer. And the world around you changes to your frequency. It matches your frequency. So if we're asking for something and it's not coming, who's the one that needs to change? You. All over to you. Love is the key. What's love got to do with it? Everything, because it's just a different frequency. Let me just see. I've just gone off and I've just not said anything about what I wanted to say, but it's all there. What has your heart singing and feeling so loved, and you're so satisfied and you're so fulfilled? Maybe put a little thing in the comments that says what makes your heart sing. And then I'm going to ask you some more, like what else makes your heart sing? I'm going to maybe ask you 7 times, so play with me. Say it out loud so that the dragons can hear you, they know that you're on board. What makes your heart sing? And I'll join you and I'll say, what makes my heart sing? Being outside, being in my garden, gardening, watching all the flowers come up, watching flowers open, watching, like last night when I picked my son up from his college, and I said, God, look up at the stars. I said, look at those stars. They're glorious. You can see the Milky Way. You can see into other galaxies. It's just heavenly. That makes my heart sing. What else makes your heart sing? Keep playing with me here. What else makes my heart sing? Oh, puppies, kittens, babies. Because their energy is so playful and open and innocent. That brings a massive heart song. What else makes my heart sing? What else makes your heart sing? Brilliant. The blossom, singing and dancing, the stars, soaking in the scents and the scenery. Or your spaniel, Baxter. Yes, of course, running across the grass, and I can just see his ears flapping. All of this. So what else makes your heart sing? I'll tell you what makes my heart sing. When my soul answers a question for me. When she gives me guidance. Now, it could be that I'm doing a reading for someone and she's playing a song in my head and she's so insistent that I catch what this song is for this person. And then when I get it and I read the lyrics and I'm like, oh my God, that is beautiful. That is such a message all on its own. When I get a song in my head and I listen to the lyrics and I go, oh, that's how much you love me. Oh, that is awesome. You see, it brings a tear to my eye. That's what makes my heart sing. That's what gets me up in the morning. That's the most beautiful thing. It's not someone else bringing me a box of chocolates. It's not someone else bringing me flowers. That's awesome. But what makes my heart sing is if now I get the box of chocolates and the flowers, knowing that that makes my heart sing. I would rather, by the way, not get flowers. I would rather get a plant that flowers for the garden, an exotic hibiscus or an exotic orchid. I have an orchid from my partner for the last 5 years. He gave it to me 5 years ago on Valentine's Day, and every year around Valentine's Day it's purple. It is the most gorgeous purple. It's opening up. That makes my heart sing. It's like, oh my God, it's representing the love that's still coming back every single year. And yes, I do have a date with my Valentine tonight. What else makes your heart sing? What else makes my heart sing? Walking around the garden or walking in nature and going, oh, honeysuckle, oh, orange blossom, oh, roses, or jasmine. That makes my heart sing. What else makes your heart sing? Please keep going with this. It's expanding your heart as you do this. Sunbathing. Oh my God, sunbathing, the sound of the ocean, the sand between my toes, being totally and utterly alone. And what's even better than that is when the dragons come with me and they're speaking to me. And I can feel them and I can see them out the corner of my eye. And my belly melts and I'm like, I'm safe, I'm peaceful. That makes my heart sing. That is at the end of the day when I can say I am a completely satisfied woman. Oh, I love it. Climbing trees. I love being with my partner. Brilliant. My family, yes. Now, the relationship that I've built with my boys and my partner is all based on this because of the stories that I tell inside my head about them. There is another extra little story that I want to tell you about this. When I said about how you change a relationship around. When I got separated from my partner, my eldest son, Mika, was very, very angry. He used to slam the door and he'd always be arguing and he'd just be temperamental. But of course, what was the story in my head? He's always angry, he's temperamental, he slams the door, he doesn't eat his dinner, he doesn't do his homework. So the only person who could change that relationship was me. I said, okay, I will change that relationship. He is such a beautiful soul. He does his homework really well. He's very helpful. He says things to me like, Mummy, is there anything else I can do for you? I love you, Mummy. Mummy, look what I did. Look what I drew. He's very helpful. He likes to help in the kitchen. He likes to do things with me. He loves to go for walks with me. He loves to play games with me. We love to watch films together. He's doing so well at his studies. He's really calm and beautiful. And do you know what happened? In under a week, I was in his bedroom and I was giving him a hug goodnight and I was crying. I was so in love with him. And he said, what's the matter, Mummy? Why are you crying? And I said, I've got my little boy back. But it's the story in your head that matters. It's the story in your head. So the dragon's energy is all about how you feel. Whatever you want to manifest, I am the queen bee of helping you understand what does it feel like. A lot of people struggle with money. A lot of people struggle with love. A lot of people struggle with their health. But the vibration of it is all the key. Always the key. The key to the whole experience. Let's have a look at what other things we've got here. Sunrise and sunset, effortless union, no matter the form. Exactly. Feeling joy, feeling lightness. So, Geraldine, you'll be feeling that inside your body. So we can put a name on it, but you will have the feeling of something first, and it is afterwards that we give the name to it. The dragons work on feelings. They can feed back to you the feelings that you have, the resonance, the frequency, not so much the word. So we know where love feels in our body because we feel it. We can feel the melting of it, the warmth, the whole experience of it. We know what wealth and abundance feels like. We know what a partner feels like. We know what loving our kids feel because we feel it in our bodies. Our body is the barometer for our soul, and it is the radiance, what we transmit out to the dragons of what it is that we want to bring into our life. Okay, so the sun on my skin must have makes me a cup of tea. Oh, yeah, there we go. So sometimes, you know, there's something about love that I wasn't going to talk about, but I will talk about right now. If you're familiar with the 5 love languages, now this is something that is existing, but there are more love language that the dragons will teach you about. But the love languages, if I can remember all 5 of them, there's touch, there's service, there's gifts, there's quality time, and what's the other one? Is it words? I think it's words. So sometimes the person that you're in love with does things for you that aren't your love language but are their love language. And you will do things for them from your love language rather than their love language. Once you know what someone's love language is, and the dragons can help you answer that by feeling into their energy to find out what their love language is, you are able to help them feel loved. But to find your own love, what love feels like to you, you have to know your own love language and fulfill that for yourself. Fill your cup from the inside. So if like me, it's quality time, words, feelings. I mean, we have all of them, but we have predominant ones. For me, it's connection. It's real quality time. Who do I need to give quality time to? Is it my partner? Is it my boys? First of all and foremost, it's me. I need to give that love language to myself. I need to spend quality time with myself, and I need to listen to what it is that my soul wants. If you're feeding your soul, you're loving her. What is the food for your soul? Your love. What makes your heart sing is finding out exactly what your heart desires, and being able to listen to that allows you to move forward with your soul so that you are in touch with your soul and satisfying your soul. You feel satisfied at the end of the day because you've given yourself that level of love that you thought could only come from someone else. When you're in love with that part of you, you are the key. No one else can love you the way you love yourself. If this is making sense and you're understanding that and you're on a new level with this kind of love, this is what Valentine's Day is all about, as far as I'm concerned. Reminding myself what makes my soul sing. All right, so the dragons are saying this, and they had me prepare this just before. The last word today on the subject of love. Ask yourself right now, please show me how much you love me. Allow the sensation to come into your body. Please show me how much you love me. What do you feel? And where do you feel it? Be happy to put things in the comments. Let us all know, because we're all going to feel slightly different, slightly richer sensations, different sensations, but we will have something land when we ask the questions to the dragons, to our soul. Please show me how much you love me right now. and allow yourself to notice what you notice and where that lands in your body. The capacity of what you feel is a practice. Yes, you will start tearing up because not very many times have you allowed yourself to feel the love of your soul and from the dragons. It's a practice that we must, the dragons say, get very familiar with, because that is the language that changes the world around us and the relationships that we are in. Learn how to feel. Learn how to feel safe. Learn how to feel more loved in your stomach. Brilliant. What happened in your stomach, Liz? The dragons say that you are living in a very narrow bandwidth of feelings, and to experience more, we need to expand our capacity to feel into what we want. That's the power that we hold when the dragons say, when Seraphina says to me, you don't know how powerful you are, that's what she means. Get out of your head, because that is blocking the experience. Get out of your expectations of what someone's love for you will feel like, because that's human. And that's the human part of you. It's not your spiritual side. It's not your soul side. Find that frequency and know the feeling of what you want to feel and hold it, treasure it, practice it and amplify it. Until you are guided by something in the external world that will match that, like another person or clients or a new puppy or a new house or a new car or a change of a relationship. Does that make sense? Until you open up to feeling safe to feel, you're living a half life. Not celebrating the life you chose to come here to have on this planet, which is exceptionally set up just for you to feel and to use your senses, to have all those tastes and delicious heart-singing moments. Feelings are not a burden. They're not something to be brushed away. They are a gift and a pleasure shut down because we didn't want to feel how uncomfortable certain things were. You are closing off the full spectrum of what's available to you in your feelings. You are, as a soul, as a spiritual being, multi-sensory. And the dragons want to teach you how to be multi-sensory. They've set up a dragon soul school just to home in on your feelings so that you know at any one time if that's right for you, if that's wrong for you, if that's what you want to feel, if that person's trustworthy, if this is the right way to go forwards in your business, if your soul is coming through you, if your soul is feeling just flush and brilliantly loving this whole spiritual experience. There are classes that you can dive into at any time. It will span over for about 12 weeks, 6 months. There will be classes and classes and classes about how you can get into the feeling, into the sensations of things, so that you can know that that is your soul talking to you. Your barometer, your body, your feelings are how your soul talks back to you. How you talk to your soul is also done via your feelings. When you are guided, when you are nudged, it comes through your feelings first. It is the most beautiful experience to be guided. You remember, it makes my heart sing because I know, oh, I'm being paid attention to. I'm loved. I'm here. I'm special. I'm here. I've come. I'm doing what I came here to do. It's like, this is what I'm here for. I'm here to feel and feel safe to feel. It's a process of growing into your spiritual communication, confident in the messages and signs that you get, communicating with your own soul, letting your own soul speak to you? What about if you actually had the name of your soul, if you knew how to contact her by her name? Like I would say, Roma, what do we feel about this? How can I look through your eyes so that is this the way to go? Is this what you want me to be doing? Is this the right way to go? Is this the right person for us to communicate with, to work with? She will open your eyes. What if you could know your own essence, the very core of you, who you are as a soul, because you feel it, you know yourself. If you can feel into other people's energy to know yourself better, to understand others, how to communicate with others on a soul-to-soul basis, if you could trust your guidance 100%, if you could build a strong relationship with yourself, your spiritual self, which is defined as your soul, if you knew how to get into your safe place, your home, at a moment's notice that could protect you from the energy that's going on around you, if you could do that in the supermarket, when you're driving your car, if you could just get into it a moment. This is working and walking through your life with your eyes wide open. It's not sitting in meditation. It's like having those feelings and recognizing them run through your body as your communication from your soul. Like, oh, why am I feeling that? Oh, it's a message. When you know how to listen when you've asked a question and you know how to listen for the answer, know that you're getting guidance and what you're feeling is guidance rather than what you think is coming from your head. You feel safe to explore and how to receive more guidance, how to get more questions answered. You can tap into your feelings and get a strong yes and no. You know that this is your greatest gift and you know the path that you're on and you're not ever relying on other people's ideas. This is what the dragons want for you to understand your feelings and how you interpret your feelings. So this is the Dragon Soul School. If this is something that you would adore, if you were just, oh God, I would just like be so certain that that is guidance. And if it's not just a sign, well, what does it mean? What am I being asked to do? If you want that level of communication with yourself as a soul, a dragon soul, and then you're able to go on and get yourself out of the way as far as your business, your life, or everything else goes, and just go, I'm just going to follow my soul. I'm going to follow my dragon's guidance. And then later, when you're more developed, it's working through and channeling the dragons, channeling the messages from the dragons for the evolution of the whole population. This is a membership group. It is an absolute divine place to come and land in. It is something that only yesterday I was asked to put together as a place, as a club for ladies to come into who want to know how to feel their way forwards. This is not, oh, I've got a list of things to do today, I've got to get all these things done. It's like, how do you feel your way forwards? How do I let go of all the cellular memory? It's in this Dragon Soul Club. It's $22 a month for the rest of your life. $22. You can come in, you can ask the questions that you want to ask. Just tell me, just go yes, send me a dragon emoji, send me a number 2, that this is something that would just fill your heart, that you were that confident that this was guidance. You were that confident, you felt safe, no longer confused, that was a message. I just got a message. I feel safe. This is exactly where I need to be. So let the dragons know that you're listening. Let your soul know that you're listening and you're going to take action. If this feels good, you will have resonance in your body. Don't let your head get in the way. Don't let your head get in the way, because it's just too complicated and you'll lose that feeling. You'll go back into your head and you won't be able to move forward with guidance. You'll be like, I've got to go back to being a bulldozer. I've got to start really, really going forwards and making action plans. This is not action plan. This is being led, feeling your way forwards. Feeling your way forwards as to which direction What is it that I'm being asked to look at? Some of the guidance that's come through to me, one of the stories that I tell quite a lot, is when I was asking to be given some speaking opportunities, and I found some speaking opportunities that came in the very next day. Funny that. And I was like booking my tickets. I went, oh, I don't have any money in that account. What am I going to do? Please show me where the money is. You know how to do this. Please show me where the money is. And my head was physically being turned. I kept feeling the guidance to look in this drawer. I was like, there's nothing in that drawer. Don't need to go there. Empty the drawer. It says, see, there's nothing in there. So I said, please show me. I need to know where this money is. I just kept going. It's that clear. Sometimes the guidance is that clear. Empty the drawer out again. I'm like, okay, I trust you. There's something in this drawer. 4 times I resisted it. And I went back into like, please show me where it is. I need to know where this is because, well, you've given me this opportunity to go and speak, but I need the money. Show me where the money is. On the 5th time I opened this drawer, I emptied it all out. I said, I will go through this methodically. I found a credit card that I'd had from 2 years before when I asked for a loan to do the studios of the previous house. And I knew that I needed 500 euros to do this particular piece of the next step of my, go and be a speaker, go and practice being a speaker on stage. So I thought, oh, God, I have this slight recollection that there's some money left. Why would I leave money on the account? I went in online, looked at it, exactly 500 euros left. Now that is divine guidance. That is dragon guidance. That is your soul guiding you to where things are. I do this for credit cards. I do this for lost keys. I do this for finding out if my boys are safe on the road. I find out all sorts of things. This kind of guidance is so brilliant at feeling your way forwards. If this is interesting for you, if you want to know how you start to feel your way forwards, communicating with your soul, give me a 2, you say yes, and I will contact you and I will let you know exactly the next step to take. This is the most beautiful journey ever. I wasn't intending to speak to you for so long, but the dragons just kept giving me more information. I love you to the moon and back. You have to know that, because I'm so proud of anyone who is taking up the mantle and actually doing this kind of work. And especially today, as this is Valentine's Day, and we are meant to be doing things on a feeling basis. We're trying to open up our hearts and be more loving. This is exactly where we need to be, feeling our way forwards, learning some of the foundational parts that we haven't done because we've been so busy trying to make other things work that we're not allowing the guidance to come in. We're super, super connected in other spiritual ways, but sometimes we just haven't been able to get into this feeling side because our head is so in the way. And this is where this Dragon Soul School for Guidance and feeling your way forwards is going to be absolutely amazing. And yes, they gave me the idea, so I am prepared to put it out there and just see who is interested to feel their way forwards. I'm going to love you and leave you. Anyone who's in my club later on, I shall see you on the other groups that I run. I run the Dragon Portal and I run Manifest with the Dragons. All to do with dragon energy, but they've all got different qualities within them. But this is the foundations. The Dragon School for Guidance to feel your way forwards is the very foundations that so many of us are missing in our life. Hope you've appreciated this. Hope you've loved it. Hope it's been helpful for you. Have a wonderful afternoon. Happy V-Day. Absolutely. Thank you very much. And love your pinkiness. I know I have to wear pink. Thank you very much for all your messages. I shall read them back. I'm reading some of these now about Gemma. You said feel fluttered at the top of your chest. Oh yes, absolutely. So we need to be able to get that into the core of you so that you're understanding what this actual feeling is when you're asking, please show me how much you love me. Yes, you'll feel fuzzy. Torso feels lighter and switched on. Tears. Yes, absolutely. We need that much love in our life. We need to open up to it. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Ladies, thank you so much for being here. I absolutely value. And 64 comments, one of my favourite numbers at the moment, so I'm going to end it there. 64 is my number. 664 is the resonance that I've been asked to be at as well, frequency. Lots of love, ladies, and if you're catching this on replay, let me know. I absolutely love you to the moon and back, and I want you to be able to feel the love that you deserve.